Hi, I'm Candace Hunter from the Practical Herbalist. I want to talk with you guys a little bit today about making your own essential oil blends. It's surprisingly easy, and honestly, you got to do it. It's fun. Making your own essential oil blends makes a lot of sense if you want to keep your costs down. For instance, you can shop for the individual oils that you like and that you want to use. And you can start off with small quantities, but then you can eventually buy larger quantities depending on what blends and what things you find are really useful in your life. Um, it also allows you to really watch for your quality control. So you get to choose the brands and you get to choose the sources. And sometimes you might find that this company has one or two that you particularly like. You like the way those turn their essential oils are. But that company has a couple of different ones that are important to you, and you like the quality there better. So being able to go back and forth between companies and choosing based on what you like in an essential oil and what you feel is the important parts, the important aspects of it, is really, I find that very important and very powerful. The other thing that's really nice, the third thing that I love about making my own blends is I get to customize them. I can change based on who I'm making them for, the uses that I've got in my own home. I don't have to go with the blend that is comes in a bottle from a big manufacturer. They might have 5 ingredients, 5 different essential oils in there, and one of them might be one that I've got to really go light on, and that whole blend doesn't work because they went too heavy on it. For instance, for me, rose geranium was one that during the allergy season, I really can't handle it. It causes allergy reactions because it triggers the allergies I actually have. I'm not allergic to rose geranium. The whole rest of the year, it's great. But if I'm buying from a large company that's already blending for me, that means that that blend is one that I just can't use for several months. Well, the other essential oils that are in there might be really important to me on a daily basis. So being able to customize is really wonderful and it's powerful. The other thing that really is beautiful, I think, about doing your own blends is that you get to know each essential oil. And that is where the real power in using essential oils in your own home lies. You get to know the oils, you get to know what they do and what they don't do in your environment, for your body, for your psyche, for your self, or for your family. You get to watch how they do or don't affect or change the aspects of your life, and you get to know which plant is the powerful one, and it changes. So you change your blends to match what's going on in your life and what's going on in your environment. There you go. Very powerful. So the question is, if you're all hooked, right? I mean, you got to do this. This is going to be fun. You got to do your own blends. And if you're going to do your own blends, I recommend you follow a basic 3-step process. And the first is decide what you want to do. What are you going to do with this blend? I usually make blends that are either for one specific purpose that's very focused. For instance, I might make a blend that is all about soothing anxiety during tax season because there's a lot of anxiety, at least it comes up in my life during tax season. So I'll make it for myself for soothing my anxiety during tax season. And when I'm doing that, I might make a really small amount of it. Or I might make a blend that I know is one that I just want to keep around like all the time because I know this is a really good blend for my house. I'm going to use it as a general purpose blend. I'm going to add it to my mop water. I'm going to add it to my soaps and cleansers. I might make a little air mister of it so that way I can freshen the room without getting too much overwhelmed. I might use it in my diffuser if I really want to fill the room. Using a general purpose blend or having a couple of general purpose blends that you've designed for yourself and your family, your environment, it's really wonderful. So that's the first step is what do you want to use your blend for? It's going to make it a lot easier to know what you're going to be doing with your blend as you make your other choices. The second step is to be choosing a brand. Which essential oil manufacturer or offerings do you want to go with? Personally, I tend to pick and choose. I try many different companies. Some companies I'll think, oh, this one's great, but I don't like the rest of the line. Or Other companies, there's one company in particular that offers a material safety data sheet, and I really appreciate that because it allows me to take a look at what's in this essential oil from this particular lot. So I can see what the percentages are, I can see where it was made, I can see where it was harvested. It gives me an awful lot of good information. So that's something that I look for, particularly if I'm planning to use my essential oils for medicine. But even if I'm just using them in my environment for cleaning my house, I still like to know that information. So choose your company. When you're choosing your company, you're going to want to look for a few keywords that they'll provide on their labels. So here's a clip showing you some of that.
I wanted to take a real quick moment here to show you guys some important stuff to look at when you're buying essential oils. We really want to make sure that our essential oils are 100% essential oils. This one here says 100% pure therapeutic grade essential oil, or essential oil lower down. But if it says 100% pure therapeutic grade and it claims to be an essential oil, it is most likely pure essential oil. The words therapeutic grade are kind of marketing, but the 100% pure and essential oil on the label are important. This one here is a certified organic essential oil. That one, I really like the fact that it's certified organic. It also says 100% essential oil here on the label. So it's really important to look for the words 100% essential oil so that you know you're getting pure essential oil rather than a blend. This one here is a certified organic essential oil, and one of the things I like about the New Directions company is that they can provide you with an MSDS or material safety data sheet, which will tell you a lot more information about what's in this essential oil, where the plants came from, what the chemical breakdown is, and that sort of thing. So look for the words 100% pure essential oil when you're buying your essential oils, and then you know you're getting the good stuff.
All right, so you saw the most important piece is your essential oil should say 100% pure. The word therapeutic may or may not be valuable, but 100% pure essential oils is. If you want a blend, that's not a blend that's is in a carrier oil. It's a lesser percent of essential oils, but it might make that particular oil something that you can actually attain because those are less expensive often, especially when you look at things like rose or sandalwood or melissa oil. Those are horribly expensive essential oils for most of us. In that case, you might look for something that isn't 100%, but for the most part, if you're looking for a good lavender oil, for instance, you want 100% essential oil. Organic, in my opinion, is an incredibly important piece of essential oils as well. We talked a little bit about that already. So look for 100%, look for organic. Those are two really key important pieces. So now you've chosen your brands and you've chosen your purpose. Now you got to choose your plants, right? God, you thought that was all? No, now you got to choose your plants. And honestly, that's the easy part. You can start off with just a handful of good favorite plants. There's a lot of books and resources out there. Erica Gallatin, I always try to say it wrong. Erica Gallatin has a wonderful essential oil book on family aromatherapy. You might want to give that one a try. There's a whole lot of different essential oil books or aromatherapy books that talk about what all the different plants do. Some of my personal favorites for starting out include ones like lavender and rosemary and orange, tea tree, ginger. These are all ones that are usually fairly low cost. They're fairly easy to get a hold of. Sometimes you can find them at your local grocery store. I've found decent brands, good brands of lavender and rosemary at the grocery store. Co-ops, natural food stores, places like that often have them. There's certainly a lot of online retailers as well that handle them. I like to suggest starting off with getting to know a handful of plants and then working with them for a bit. So choose your plants and then get blending. That is like the fun part, right? Getting blending. My first tip is to start with 2 or 3, like in a specific recipe. I like to choose, when I first got started, I started off with recipes that had 3 essential oils in them, and that allowed me to play with them. I could play with the amount of proportions that I had. You know, I could play with it. So here's some ideas for getting blending. I'm going to show you what to do and how to do it, but also give you some tips for how to play with it.
Today I wanted to give you one of my tips for making an easy peasy essential oil blend that you can keep at home. I make these regularly, and if you've been using essential oils regularly, you'll know that you run out of them and you can't reuse the bottles very easily. In this particular case, my rosemary bottle is down to right about there, so I've got the perfect amount for my rosemary lavender tea tree blend. So what I'm going to do is open up my essential oil bottle, my rosemary essential oil bottle, and pull out the little dropper. I forgot what the name of this, proper name of this is, but the little reducer that allows you to be able to do drops from your essential oils. They are not easy to get out, especially if your nails are not the super strong hard kind, which mine are not. All right, can you see in there? Got the rosemary in there. I'm going to fill it up with lavender oil next. So rosemary is about 1/3. I like to go a little heavier on the lavender oil. You could go lighter on lavender and heavier on rosemary. So when we get done here, we want to have it up to very close to the top. I don't want a ton of tea tree oil in there. And the reason for that is that tea tree is very overwhelming. So, oops, before I get started, let me open up my essential oil here. I've got lavender 4042 today that I'm using. I find that that one serves me quite nicely for medicinal purposes. It seems to be a good strong oil. And yeah, we about got it. I think I'm going to put just a little bit more of the lavender in there. There we go. Now it's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about too is that when you're making your essential oil blends, I strongly recommend that you use some sort of protective covering like this cutting board to protect the surface of your table, because your table is whatever it's made out of, whether it's wood and it's got a natural or polyurethane style finish or not, the essential oils can damage them, and tea tree oil in particular is very good at damaging oil counters, as are the citrus family, all of them. I know, because I have damaged quite a few tables, and I definitely recommend against it. Now I have a dropper on this large bottle for this tea tree that I'm going to take. Actually, I'm going to leave it on and see how quickly this dropper pours. I don't want a ton of tea tree oil in there, in part because the tea tree oil is, like I said, it's very strong and overwhelming. We want the cleansing power of it, but I don't necessarily want to have my tea tree oil be the dominant scent that my entire blend will be. Part of that is because this blend is sort of an all-purpose blend. Lavender is antifungal and it kills bacteria and has been shown to kill staph infections, as has tea tree. So they're both strongly antimicrobial and good at killing germs and disinfecting. Rosemary has some disinfecting properties as well and some antifungal properties. It's also a good balance to the soothing, quieting, shutting down sort of energy or emotional state that lavender tends to invoke. Lavender generally helps you to sleep. It's good for relaxing, quieting down. And rosemary is a nice balance to that. It's stimulating, but without overwhelming your nervous system. It helps your muscles relax while it stimulates your mind. So we're going to put our dropper back in there. And I did not bring my labeling supplies with me, but I will relabel that. It's important, if you do reuse bottles like I am reusing here, that you do not just leave that old label out. So This bottle, I will probably not go through the work of tearing the label off. I'll probably put a piece of tape or a new label across it when I do my annual cleaning of bottles. If this one's empty by then, I will rip the labels, all the labels off, clean it, and it will save the tops and droppers as long as the scent has mostly gone from them.
All right, so you saw how easy it is to get started. You can start playing with the proportions of what you're using. Like I did in the video, I reduced my tea tree, partly because tea tree is really overwhelming. And that's in the process of working with the 3 essential oils. I've noticed that in my environment, I often can reduce the tea tree a little bit and up the lavender or the rosemary. Sometimes I do them equally increased, and sometimes I increase one or the other a little bit more. A lot of that depends on the level of stress and the amount of good sleep that my family's getting. So that is one, the lavender rosemary tea tree is one of my favorite all-purpose blends. And of course, if tea tree is a bad one for you, if you've got sensitivities, some people do, or if you have cats living with you, cats do not do well with tea tree oil. If you've got small children like babies, you might want to consider omitting the tea tree. Small dogs don't do well with it. I would be incredibly careful about using it on very large dogs as well, because their livers, their body is not designed to get rid of the molecules that are in tea tree. So if you want to substitute something, I would suggest try substituting one of the orange peels, sweet or bitter orange. Either one works great, and those are good for cleansers. They will offer a lot of antibacterial stuff, and it will give a nice lift to your essential oil blend. So those are my essential oil blends. Once you get your blend made, you can use it in a variety of ways. You can add it to carriers, like if you add it to an oil, like a body oil, that makes a beautiful massage oil. You can add it to vinegars to use for cleaning. You can add it to soaps. My son has on occasion used that actual blend. He puts in just a few drops, like 10 drops in his big thing of shampoo. And he says that it helps him with reducing dandruff and reducing flaky skin on his scalp. So, you can add, and it doesn't take a lot. You can have just a few drops in whatever it is you're working with. See, there's also using them in alcohols. I have used essential oils with rubbing alcohol, or sometimes I've done it with a high proof alcohol or a medium, like a 151 or so, which is about 75% alcohol. And then I've used that as a spritzer or as a perfume. If you use rubbing alcohol, you'll get the isopropyl alcohol scent in there, whereas if you use the grain alcohol, it tends to be a cleaner scent. So you can make your own perfume, which is kind of fun. So you can have your daily scent. Spritzers, salves, lotions, shampoos, you can diffuse them. There's so many ways you can use essential oils. I recommend giving them a try. They're a whole lot of fun.